Now, Tinder and dating apps and online dating. I think most people, if not a lot of people, have been on it on online dating, utilize online dating. Why? Because I guess it enables us to expand our reach, okay, from the privacy of our own homes, and we're able to meet people that would otherwise not have crossed paths with. Like in the old days, how did people meet? We met through friends, being introduced, friends of friends, and so forth, at a social function or gathering, or met at the pub, which is a more, some would see it as a more sleazy way to meet. But then it's kind of like everyone knows what it's all about. And I guess some pubs are known for being pickup joints. And especially in terms of what time it is on Friday night drinks, a lot of it, unless people have come in partnered, if they've come in by themselves, then it's kind of like a signal that, hey, approach me, I'm looking for someone, and so forth. So that's the way people used to do it. And I guess it can be intimidating. And I guess you relied on your luck, so to speak. If you went to an event, if you would meet anyone that you liked or was appropriate for you, that sort of thing. And I guess online dating takes all that hard work out of it. But on the flip side, because it's taken so much hard work out of meeting people, the other hand is you don't value the people you meet as much as you did before. The connections that you make, and the friendships and the relationships that you had. So I guess, before you met someone, you might go on a date, you really try at it and try at the relationship, because you don't know when you're going to be able to meet someone else, because it's always luck of the draw. But now with online dating, people meet through it. If they're not happy with the date, they don't worry, because there's probably another message in the inbox when they got home. So one, people did not value it. That's a disadvantage, a negative, I could say. But also, how do I say this? It's very hard to know what the other person is actually like from a profile, because a profile doesn't really tell you much about them or potential. It might say what they do, the stats, how tall they are, what they do, what their interests are. But here's the thing. There are cookie cutter stuff. You tend to see the same things being mentioned on all the profiles, or most of the profiles, because people want to be noticed and want to be picked. And so they put out what they think would appeal to most people in order to get the most amount of candidates and the most amount of exposure and likes and so forth. So it may not be the actual true personality, the true selves. And even if someone wants to be honest and say what they're all about, it may not come across as being exciting enough to warrant being picked. And so that's the flip side of being honest on these dating websites and dating apps. People can't be themselves on that. They have to basically be a marketer. And with that comes a few untruths as well. And the flip side is people get selected based on their appearance, especially with apps like Tinder, whereas it's like swipe right or left, that sort of thing, based on practically an image. So it's basically on looks. So because of that, I see it more as like a pickup joint area, rather than somewhere that you can meet someone for fulfilling a long-term relationship. So it's more like, to me, it equates more to like a pub scene, the Tinder apps. And it's very unfortunate, because people know what they want, but they don't know what they need. And so they might have these images in mind in going for, okay, that appeals, but they don't know or understand really how that person's going to impact their lives. And so for what are the more important things. But also because that is basically a pickup joint, a pickup area, fulfilling relationships don't get formed. It's like a playground for players, which is quite unfortunate because a lot of women go out there looking for a long-term partner, looking for marriage. Men not so much. Men they're very happy when when they do actually meet someone of substance. So if they end up picking someone from there and ends up to be such a great match for them that they end up getting married and so forth, and it ends up being a great long-term marriage and happy marriage, and that's great. But by and large, it doesn't happen on these dating websites purely because the way it is not geared for that. And another thing it is it's very hard to be able to tell the actual substance of that person. For example, say people need time for all their qualities and all their abilities and what they can do to actually show. You know, as they get older, they achieve more things. And then that's something that you can show your potential date or partner what they're all about. However, at that stage, they are a little older. And when we're looking for someone to settle down with, we want to start young because biologically, especially for women, there is a window of opportunity, biological window, that they must meet before it shuts. So unfortunately, being at the young age, they have all that potential, but they can't show it, and you can't prove it based on a profile. I mean, what can you say? That you're judged on what your job is, what you've achieved, and so forth, and that's it, or what your background is, or supposedly where you live. You might be seen, high class person of substance if they're from a high income or seen as one of the more prestigious areas, if they're born and bred that or they live in that area, versus somewhere in, say, a more poorer area or a lower class area. What's seen as that? And it's unfortunate that because internally they may have a lot of substance and a lot of things to offer, but they get overlooked because of that, and because they cannot prove that at that stage in the 20s, or even early 30s. You can't, because you haven't had enough, gone through life enough to be able to accumulate and achieve those things that are within you to be able to show what you are. And so that's very unfortunate. And that is, I can see a big drawback in dating websites and dating apps. And there's been some, I think there's one that's been started by a Christian pastor based on trying to match people up for long-term relationships, for serious relationships. And with that, there is this big list of these questions you need to complete and answer. And then they'll try to match based on that, based on the answers, and think, okay, based on your answers, this type of personality behavior, so we'll try to match you with someone that's similar, given the similar answers. And so that's one attempt at doing it. But by and large, it doesn't work. It still doesn't work a lot of the time. So you try very hard, and I give that person credit for it. I think the dating site is eHarmony, and I give them a lot of credit for that. Trying to go these extra steps and trying to make it for people that want long-term relationships, meet someone of substance. And with that, I guess it also leads to some people going to matchmaking agencies, hoping that they can find someone of substance being matched by a person. Now, therein lies a couple of issues with with this all. In dating apps, there's been stories where you've heard of the dating site or app provider putting up false profiles and emailing and telling them that you've got someone else interested in you and so forth, just to keep the subscription going. It appeals to people's heart. They may, especially if they've abandoned it for a while, and going, I think there's someone for you. Renew your membership and get to speak to this person. Or if you are going to a dating agency, I've never been to one, and I personally haven't I think I might have known one person that's been to a dating agency, and they do provide one-to-one service, but you have to know that at the end of the day, they are still a business. They are there basically to try to get your money, so to speak, and so forth. Get your money with promises of a match available. They've got plenty of matches. Now, this is the issue with dating agencies as well. A lot of the times, they don't have enough people on their books, so to speak. And surprisingly, it's mostly men that they are lacking. Because as you know, women are far more interested in relationships than men. So they'll be more likely the type of people that will sign up, especially if they're trying in their 30s especially, and they realize the biological window is closing and they need to find someone quickly. So they'll go. And there's a lot of complaints are from women about these dating agencies is that they're matched with inappropriate men. I guess mainly because they don't have enough men on their books. And that's what it comes across. So that's what I have to say about these dating agencies. I mean, it's look, I really hope they are ethical because you're dealing with people's feelings and people's soul. It goes to how to see people's soul, and that also relates to their self-esteem and how they think of themselves and feel about themselves. So I hope these dating agencies are doing the right thing by their customers, these lonely hearts. And that's the reason why I guess I recommend people, if you do meet someone, get a relationship compatibility analysis done. So you know in the early stages, if need be, so you don't invest too much time and energy or even money in the relationship, which it would in an inappropriate relationship, so to speak, a relationship that would not go the distance. And it's not worth the investment that you put into it. So you can book a reading with me, and for the rather smaller fee compared to what you're going to invest in an inappropriate relationship, you know straight away. So it saves you money and time, a lot of time. And especially before you get married, if you're thinking about it, then it's best to check to make sure. Not only because people don't always show their true selves, especially if they want something enough. And with a relationship compatibility reading, we can go beyond that and cut through that, because people cannot lie. People cannot lie about what they are. And we'll be able to tell what effect on your life that person will have. And that is very, very important, because more than anything else, the biggest impact and the biggest decision you can make in your life is who you marry. More than anything else, and it does not get the importance that it should get. It does not get the importance that it deserves and that it should get. So you can book a reading with me, missdragonfly.com.